I usually don't ask this early, but if you could like the video and subscribe, it would mean a lot. We're so close to hitting 1,000 subscribers, and your support can really help get my content out there. Thanks, Lucas Faber, a 35-year-old IT consultant from Berlin, is a compassionate and family-oriented man who has always prioritized loved ones over his career. His wife, Eva Faber, 32, is an ambitious and glamorous real estate agent with a strong focus on success and status. Lucas's father, Heinrich Faber, 67, is a wealthy businessman from Zurich with a legacy in luxury hotel management, whose health begins to fail, drawing Lucas back to care for him. Victor Koenig, 38, a bold and successful real estate developer, is a mutual friend of the couple, but his growing closeness with Eva creates a rift in the marriage. Meanwhile, Sophia Meyer, 34, an interior designer from Zurich and Lucas's childhood friend, becomes a comforting presence in Lucas's life as he navigates his personal and family challenges. Berlin, with its pulsating rhythm and lively streets, was where Lucas Faber had built a peaceful life. At 35, he'd grown into a reliable, compassionate man, someone who cherished stability, family, and his love for technology. His job as an IT consultant wasn't glamorous, but it allowed him the freedom to work from home, enabling him to spend more time with his wife, Eva. They had met at a technology conference in Munich 7 years earlier, and Lucas had fallen for her instantly. Eva, with her striking green eyes and ambitious nature, was magnetic. She was a rising star in the Berlin real estate scene, always impeccably dressed and brimming with confidence. But over the years, something had changed. The hustle and ambition that had once brought them together now seemed to drive them apart. Eva's success in the real estate world took her out of the house for long hours, while Lucas's career had plateaued, leading him to focus more on their home life and future plans. Still, he had remained optimistic that their love would withstand the trials life had to offer. That was until Lucas received a call from Zurich one chilly evening. "Lucas?" His father's voice crackled over the phone. "I need to tell you something important. I've been diagnosed with pancreatic cancer." The words struck him like a physical blow. Heinrich Faber had always been larger than life. A man of immense wealth and stature, Heinrich had built an empire in the luxury hotel industry from scratch. He had properties spread across Europe and was respected across the hospitality world. Hearing that this invincible figure in Lucas's life was suddenly fragile and mortal was shattering. Without hesitation, Lucas made the decision to take leave from work and head to Zurich. His father needed him, and there was no way he was going to let him face the end alone. However, when Lucas broke the news to Eva that he needed to spend time with his father, he was met with resistance. "You're going to leave me alone in Berlin for who knows how long?" Eva asked, her voice tinged with annoyance as she applied a deep red lipstick in front of their bedroom mirror. "Eva, it's my father. He's dying. I can't just abandon him. I'll come back on weekends or whenever I can," Lucas explained, trying to meet her eyes through the mirror. She scoffed, running a brush through her perfectly styled blonde hair. "You're exaggerating. He'll have doctors and nurses to take care of him. You don't need to put your life on hold for this." Lucas felt a pang of disappointment. He had hoped she would understand, but Eva's world revolved around her career and social life. She had never been close to Heinrich, and it was becoming clear that she didn't share the same sense of family duty. But Lucas had made his decision. The next day, he packed a small suitcase and took the train to Zurich, leaving behind the life he had built with Eva in Berlin. As he watched the landscape blur past his window, he couldn't shake the feeling that something in his marriage had shifted, maybe irreversibly. Zurich was a city that had always been a second home to Lucas. His father's sprawling villa on the edge of Lake Zurich was an oasis of tranquility, with the shimmering waters reflecting the snow-capped Alps in the distance. But now, The villa felt different. The life and energy Heinrich had infused into the house had faded, replaced by the somber presence of nurses, hospice staff, and the quiet, painful acknowledgement that the end was near. The first few weeks were grueling. Lucas took on the role of caregiver, sitting by his father's bedside, helping with medications, and listening to Heinrich's stories of his younger days. They would talk late into the night about the empire Heinrich had built, about the sacrifices and hard work it had taken to get where he was. There was a deep sense of pride in Heinrich's voice, but also regret. "I spent too much time chasing money," Heinrich confessed one night, his voice raspy and weak. "I should have spent more time with you and your mother. Family is what matters in the end, Lucas. Don't forget that." Lucas nodded, holding his father's hand tightly. Those words stuck with him, a warning not to let life's fleeting pursuits come at the cost of what truly mattered. But while Lucas was pouring his heart into caring for his father, back in Berlin, things were falling apart. Ava, who had initially been supportive in her distant way, grew more and more frustrated with Lucas's prolonged absence. Her career had taken off, and she was now handling high-profile clients and multi-million-euro properties. With Victor Koenig by her side, a brash but successful real estate mogul, she was regularly attending lavish events, fancy galas, and exclusive parties. When Lucas would call her from Zurich, exhausted after a long day of caring for his father, Ava's responses were brief and detached. "I'm really busy right now, Lucas," she would say. "We'll talk later." And later never seemed to come. It wasn't long before the whispers started. Friends in Berlin told Lucas that Ava had been seen spending more time with Victor than was appropriate. At first, he didn't want to believe it. Victor was a mutual friend, someone they had both known for years. But the evidence piled up: late-night texts, unexplained absences, and then the final blow. One cold evening in Zurich, Lucas called Ava to tell her about an important decision he had made: to stay with his father until the very end. He could hear the frustration in her voice before she even spoke. "Lucas, this is ridiculous. You've been there for months. Your life is passing you by," Ava said sharply. "My life is here, Ava. My father is here, and he doesn't have much time left," Lucas replied, his voice strained with fatigue. "Well, I can't keep doing this," Ava snapped. "I can't keep waiting for you to come back. I need more than this half-life." "What are you saying?" Lucas asked, his heart racing. "I'm saying it's over. I'm leaving, Lucas. I've found someone who can be there for me, someone who isn't trapped in the past." And just like that, the line went dead. Ava was gone. Lucas sat in stunned silence, the phone still in his hand. He had just lost his wife, the woman he had shared his life with for the past 7 years. But instead of feeling devastated, he felt numb. Ava had made her choice, and in that moment, Lucas realized how much they had drifted apart. She had become someone he no longer recognized, someone who valued success and status more than the bonds of love and family. He had more pressing matters to focus on, though. Heinrich's condition was deteriorating rapidly. The doctors told Lucas it wouldn't be long now, and Lucas spent every waking hour at his father's side. In those final days, Heinrich seemed at peace, as if he had come to terms with his own mortality. "Lucas," Heinrich said softly one morning, his voice barely above a whisper, "there's something I want to tell you about the will." "Dad, you don't need to worry about that now," Lucas said, trying to keep his voice steady. "No, listen," Heinrich insisted, his eyes locking onto Lucas's. "You've been the only one who stayed by my side. You've shown me what true loyalty looks like. When I'm gone, I want you to have everything. All the hotels, the properties, the shares. It's all yours." Lucas was taken aback. He had never expected this. He had assumed his father would divide the fortune between various family members and charities, but to leave everything to him? It was overwhelming. "Dad, that's too much. I don't need—" "Don't argue with me," Heinrich interrupted, a faint smile crossing his lips. "This is my gift to you, Lucas. You've earned it. I know you'll take care of everything." A week later, Heinrich Faber passed away peacefully in his sleep. The funeral was a grand affair, attended by dignitaries, business moguls, and old friends from across Europe. But as Lucas stood by the gravesite, watching his father being lowered into the ground, he felt an emptiness that no amount of money could fill. Chapter 4. A New Beginning. In the months that followed, Lucas found himself thrust into a new world. As the sole beneficiary of Heinrich's estate, Lucas was now a multi-millionaire. The will had left him not only his father's fortune, but also control of the Faber family's vast hotel empire, luxury properties in Zurich, Vienna, and Geneva, as well as a portfolio of investments worth millions. At first, it was overwhelming. Lucas had never been driven by wealth, and the sudden responsibility of managing an empire felt like a heavy burden. But slowly, he began to find his footing. With the help of trusted advisors and longtime employees of his father's company, Lucas began to take control, making decisions that would shape the future of the Faber legacy. He moved permanently to Zurich, finding solace in the peaceful lakeside villa that had once been his father's. It was here that he reconnected with old friends, including Sophia Meyer, a childhood friend who had become a successful interior designer. Sophia had always been there, a quiet presence in Lucas's life, and as they spent more time together, he realized that she understood him in a way Ava never had. Meanwhile, back in Berlin, Ava's life was unraveling. Her relationship with Victor, which had seemed so promising, had quickly soured. Victor was controlling and manipulative, and soon Ava found herself isolated and miserable. She missed the stability and kindness Lucas had always shown her, and she began to regret her decision to leave him. One day, out of the blue, she decided to reach out to Lucas. Maybe, just maybe, they could start over. It was a rainy afternoon in Zurich when Lucas received a message from Eva. She was in town and wanted to meet for coffee. At first, Lucas wasn't sure what to think. After all the pain she had caused, he wasn't sure if he wanted to see her. But curiosity got the better of him, and he agreed to meet her at a cafe overlooking the lake. When Ava walked in, she looked different. The confident, glamorous woman he had once known seemed diminished. Her eyes were tired, and her once perfectly styled hair was now tied back in a loose ponytail. She sat down across from Lucas, her hands trembling slightly. "Lucas," she began, her voice soft, "I made a mistake. I've been thinking a lot about what happened, about how I treated you. I was selfish, and I hurt you. I see that now." Lucas listened quietly, sipping his coffee. He didn't interrupt her. I miss you," she continued. "I miss what we had. Victor, he wasn't who I thought he was. He's gone now, and I've been thinking about us, about whether we could try again." Lucas set his cup down, looking out at the rain-soaked streets. When he finally spoke, his voice was calm and steady. "Ava, I loved you once, but the woman I loved left me when I needed her most. I was at my lowest point, and you walked away. That's not something I can forget." Ava's eyes filled with tears, and she reached out to touch his hand. "I'm sorry, Lucas. I was wrong. I was scared, and I didn't know how to deal with it." Lucas pulled his hand away gently. "Ava, I've moved on. My life has changed, and so have I. I'm not the same man you left. I've found peace, and I've found happiness." He stood up, pulling on his coat as Ava looked up at him, her expression one of desperation. "I wish you the best, Ava," he said softly, "but my future doesn't include you." With that, Lucas walked out of the cafe, leaving Ava behind in the rain. As he stepped outside, he felt a sense of closure, a weight lifting off his shoulders. He had lost so much, but in the end, he had gained something far more valuable: self-respect and a deeper understanding of what truly mattered in life. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this story, feel free to leave a comment below with your thoughts. Have you ever been in a situation where someone walked out of your life only to return when things improved? Let me know. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more stories.